Hi and welcome to another wonderful episode of our C++ course. In this lesson we're going to talk about the for loop or the iteration. Now think of a situation where you need to count a number of items over and over again, or a particular group of items one after the other. This is where we bring iteration into our programming. Iteration simply means counting a number of items, so you are iterating over a number of items. So we can use this for loop or the statement to actually get elements in a group one after the other. So for instance, if you have a number of items placed in a particular basket, or let's say you have a number of items placed in a basket or a bag, and you are asked to remove them one after the other. So this is the principle of iteration. You are removing items one after the other, or counting numbers one after the other. Now let me make this scenario that if you are sent to give certain things or an amount of money to any, or share things among a group of people, you are definitely going to do it one after the other. So for every member in the group, you are going to give that particular item to, which means that you give it until you reach the last person. This is what the concept of for loop or iteration is all about. So how do we do or create a for loop? We simply start with a for statement. So a for statement will come, and then we proceed with a parenthesis. Now in between the parenthesis is where we're going to write our condition. So how do we do it? Similar to the while loop we saw in a few videos ago, in our previous video. This is how it also works. So we declare our for statement, we add a parenthesis, and then we open our parenthesis, and this is where we're going to write our statement. So in the parenthesis we will declare our data type. So we want to count a number from 1 to 5. Okay, so there are a group of 5 people or 5 numbers, and we want to count them one after the other. So we declare our integer value and give a variable name, so say number, because we're going to count the numbers that make up to 5. So number, and then you set it to the number or the starting point where you want to start counting from. If you want to start counting from 0, you initialize it with a 0. If you want to start it from 1, you do the same thing. So here I want to start from 0, so I will initialize my 0 value to the variable number. Now if a number is set to 0, then we can as well leave it like this. When you just declare a variable without a value, it presupposes that the value which is embedded in that variable is 0. Alright, so for programming, for this beginner friendly sake, let me initialize an initial value. Let me give it an initial value of 0. And then we'll give it a condition. So we have initialized our variable, we'll leave it to a condition where it must be met. So we can say that number is less than 5. Here means that I want to count up to 5. I want to count the numbers that make up 5. So I will say that it is less than 5. If I want to count up to the 5 that I'm talking about, I have to now add an equal sign to it, which means that the number is either less than or equal to 5. So which means that the number will start from the starting point, which is 0, all the way to 5. But in a nutshell, if I just leave it like number is less than 5, it is not going to include 5, the 5 itself. It's going to start from 0 and count up to 4, because 4 is actually less than 5. 5 is not less than 5. So that condition would not be met. So we just leave it as integer number equals 0, number is less than 5. And so if the number is less than 5, then we must increase the number by 1. So here we can say number plus plus. So our initial number is 0. So we just compare, is 0 less than 5? If it is less than 5, then we must increase it by 1. it's not going to end there, because we are saying that it should iterate 5 times. So you just move all over again 5 times. So think of it as when you are playing a music and you set it on loop or on repetition, it is going to repeat itself until you turn it off. So here we are saying that repeat counting, or repeat the number of times you are playing the music up to 5 times. So when it gets to 5, it would now stop the repetition. So that's what we're doing here. And then we call out our number. So we just see out number, and then we end the line. So this is going to make sure that our number starts counting from top to bottom. So let's run and see what the results will be like. Okay, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see that there are 5 items, but they count up to 5. The reason being that we started counting from 0 and we said it must end before 5. Okay, so it's not going to include the 5, but it's actually going to count 5 times. So that's why we have from 0 to 4. And when you count the items in 5, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But they actually started counting from 0. If you want to include 5, I said we can add an equal to right here, and we're going to count up to 5, which we are going to get 6 elements though. So let's run and see. So we have 0 all the way to 5, but we actually have 6 elements because we started counting from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want to start counting from 1, then we must initialize this to 1 and then count up to 5. So we have starting from 1 all the way to 5. Now we can as well do multiplication with this. So we can say that for number from 1 to 5, we should increase it. And right here we can set another variable to store the total of that number. So we can say int total equals number times 2. So anytime we count that number, the number should be multiplied by 2. And here we're going to print out the total. So we expect that the number should start multiplying itself by 2. So when we have this, so we have 2, 4, 6, sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right. Okay, so that is what we have right here. And we can as well calculate the total of the entire number. So here, what we do is that we add total to the number each time they count it. So we say plus number. So each time we count it, it should set that number to the total, and then the new number, which is the iteration, should be added to the total. So the number from 1 to 5, we should calculate, you put all of them together to see. So we have 1, 3, 1, 2, which is 3, plus 3, which is 6, plus 4, which is 10, and so on. So let's see. We are supposed to get like maybe like 15 or something. So let me not guess yet. So let's see. Oh, all right. So we have. Let's see. This is not what I actually expected. So total plus number, and so here what we can do is to first set our data type for the total. So we say int total, and we don't have any value to it, so we can just remove this from here, and then we can call out the console. We can print them out here, not necessarily printing them in the for statement. When we print it in the for statement, anytime there's an iteration, the total will be printed again. So let's see how this one goes. So I'll print it, and then I have 15 because so from 1 to 5, when you add all the numbers together, you get 15. So 1 plus 2 is 3, and then 3 is added up to 3 itself, which is 6. And then from there you move on to 4. So you add 4 to 6, which is 10. And then finally you add 5 to 10, which is 15. So that is exactly the number with the figure we have right there. Aside doing total equals total plus number, you can actually use augmented assignment. So plus equals number, and that also works. So total plus equals number, which means total is added to itself, and then so you can have 15 as the answer again. Okay, so let's try to write something that will be essential. So I'm just going to leave this on to 12. You remember the last project we created, which was a multiplication table. I'm going to create this with a multiplication table to see how it will be. So I would say that number multiplied by 2, if I'm calculating 2. So I would say I will now make it like sorry, product. So product equals this. So I'm going to remove this not total, and here I'll make it product. So I will now console out the product here. So I'm expecting that it's calculate 2 times 1 all the way to 2 times 12. So you should have 24 product times number times 2, and then I'm supposed to have this right here, put it in the console in the for statement, and then I'll run and see. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 all the way to 24. So what I can do right now is to say cout number, and then I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to do this number. I'm just adding some flesh to it. Number times number, and then I will say equals product. So number times number equals product. If it's the number is 1, is going to, okay, so number times 2. All right, right here, number times 2 equals, let me remove this, number times 2 equals product. So let's see what we have right here. I have an, okay, so this is, I have an error. This is number. So run it and see what we have. So we have 1 times 2 there. So it's not that, it works. Let me do the arrangement well. So you have actually 2 times number. So I'll say this 2 times number. So I have this here, 2 times number equals product. So 2 times 1 equals 2, 2 times 2 equals 4, all the way to 2 times 12. So this is the for statement and how it is used. Right, we're just getting started with our GPA calculator, how you calculate your GPA in an examination. All right, in the next video we're going to start all of them together. All right, so thank you. We shall we shall meet in the next video. Okay, so let's meet in the next video for our GPA calculator. We're just getting started with our GPA calculator.